welcome back once again to this very amazing conversation. Sorry we took a short break. We had to change up the batteries just to keep this flowing, to keep this going, and to keep you guys engaged. And so I would like to invite you to just, there was a portion of the story that you were telling us about where the bouncing baby has come, and now you know there's a few tangles going on. You know, you're taking the baby home, and dad, as it were, was not necessarily entirely happy with that. So maybe you can take it up from there.
So yeah, that happened. I went back, and now I had to think of what is the next step for me and this child now. Now I understood where my mom was coming from, and she took me to my auntie. But I know we will do part 2 of this, and I'm really excited to go to that part where we now look at this second chapter of my life. But if you're really excited to get to understand what happened, I wrote a whole book about this story, my memoir that you mentioned, Hope Made a Way, and you can get it. It's very cheap. It's 1,000. You can get it and just get to see those elements that are probably not gotten to just yet, but we'll get to them. And what I love about this conversation, Moses, is that we have said things that are probably not in the book fully. So yes, getting the book will bring to light some things, but this conversation has really gone into the nitty-gritties, those elements that I still wanted to hold close to my heart. So I didn't pour all of them into this book. And I also wanted this book to be light, a light book that because my target audience was young girls and young women in communities like the ones I grew up in, rural areas and informal settlements or slum areas where we are mostly forgotten. So if you don't even want to probably buy it for yourself, buy it for someone who will probably not be able to access videos on YouTube or videos on different platforms or even afford the book. You can buy it for someone who you know will get impacted. To just know, hope does make a way. You might not have everything, but when you have hope, you have what it takes to conquer whatever challenges you have experienced in your life.
And where can they get the book?
They can get it on Nuria, and they can also get it on different social media accounts that are, just look for Lucy Wanjiko Jenga. That's the name I go with. And you can just order directly from me. I don't have a person who's dealing with it. And also there's a website that's coming up, wanjikojenga.com. So even the website, they can still buy from my website.
Okay. Well, that's really wonderful. One thing I like about the idea of presenting your reflections within the book, they say that the Psalms that were written by David, at least some of them, were not written in the high places of his palace. They were written in the dark crevices of the caves. And that's something that creates so much life and power within what was written. Yes. And something else that's beautiful is power expressed feeds. And that's something that is done through this conversation, for instance, and more so done through what you have written. And so I re-encourage everyone that is listening into this story that regardless of whether or not you're going through a situation, it is an important reminder to know that hope does actually make a way. And that you're invited to read through the story and understand how such what would be considered a simple title actually has a story that would then influence and pivot your own life. And I'm very grateful for taking the time into telling this part of the story. And I would like to emphasize that what you have had in the few hours of conversation, not few, quite many, hours of conversation has been just but a tip of the iceberg of what there is then to present. And so we would invite you to look out for episode 2 of this conversation, building and delving into how hope made a way in the life of Lucy Wanjiko Njenga. And with that, I would request you, perhaps, as we briefly go into a close, for those listening to this part 1, listening to the background, listening to where Lucy has come from, her background, the mini shifts that she was doing, her school experiences, her friendships back at that time, and even into now having a child, that already tells of a person's current story. What's that final word of encouragement that you would give as we seek to close on this part one?
Mostly when I do book drives, where it's just bringing girls and young women together, and sometimes young men and boys, is I tell them in these situations we find ourselves, where we are living in informal settlements, we don't have all the resources we would want. We are not going to the best schools, we don't have the best certificates, we probably don't even have certificates, but we do have something. No one was put on this planet empty. That has never happened, and it will not start happening now with your story. So there's something you have in you to give this world. And it might seem simple to you, but it's what the world needs. When I started out, all I had was Lucy Wanjiko Jenga's story. And that story has taken me to places I never thought were possible. It has sat me with kings, it has sat me with presidents in the same podium, speaking with the same microphone. So that story is not nothing. Whatever thing you have is not nothing. Is it dancing that you dance so well? Is it cooking? What is that you do so effortlessly? You think it's nothing. That is your reason for being in this earth. That's your reason for moving from where you think you're at your worst, at your deepest depths, dark depths, to getting into the lightest part of your life. So pursue that. We have time that no one can take from us. So use that time. Give yourself time. I had to take 10 years before this book could come about, you know. So we have time, and that's a resource, a very, very important resource that no one can take from you. And you have a talent, a skill. Use that, or build on skills that you already have. And that will get you out of those places you never thought possible. And just have hope. Hope is free, and it holds you when blood that is pumping in your veins no longer can carry you. Hope carries you. It never leaves you. So always have hope. Hope, time, skill, talent. That's how you get to defeat whatever challenge you're going through.
Right, and there you have it, folks. The one and only, going to come a second time, Lucy Wanjiko Njenga. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation, and we look forward to having you join in on our next conversation.